from it, you'll go from the three states of consciousness that are temporary, and you awake into the self. And I got news for you. I know someone can help you do it. You see, that's what all this is about. To know the self. That's the book. Man, know thyself. And so when we begin to take on the teachings that are given to us in Satsang, when we begin to continue to serve the Master in our daily lives, and we continue with the meditation practices that are so freely given by the Master, then the more you practice that, the more you realize, wait a minute, this is not the real world. I'm experiencing the ultimate real world. I'm experiencing the self as the self. And all of this, you begin to see it as if it's a movie at the movie theater. It's real while you're watching it. Nobody's going to tell you that that's real. You know, it's just a play. Somebody wrote the script, and they're acting it out. We got news for you. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. You wrote the script in the previous lifetime. You created the reality everybody talks about. You're playing it out. The things are going to come up. You deal with them because they're not real. And what happens then is that you begin to resolve the old karma, because it's going to hit you in the face when you get on this path. It's going to come faster and harder on this path. It's going to just come up, and because now you're more prepared to deal with it. You see, it's in the Rajitasa. And as you resolve the old karma, as the witness, without getting more entangled in it, you're not creating new karma. And if you're not creating new karma, resolve old karma, then the self becomes more and more and more in your awareness until you say, as the Lord said, I and my Father are one. He explained it fairly well. He explained, he says, you know, my Father's kingdom is not of this world. You can live in this world, but not be of this world. Why? Because this world isn't real. He even says, don't pray for the world. You find that one in there. I'll pick it out for you. Do not pray for the world, because this is an illusion. This isn't real. When you're sleeping and you're dreaming, you're not aware of any of this. Any of this, none of it. To you, it doesn't exist. And you're having fun or not in the astral plane in another world, in another dimension. And when you sleep like a log, you don't even know who you are. You know, as they said, the closest you come maybe to being oblivious to everything and touching the self, because you're totally oblivious to everything. And then when you wake up, this world has to form. Why? Because it wasn't real to begin with. That wave has to collapse again, and you put your attention to it, and then this reality. Now, what I don't want to see is a bunch of insanity over this. I don't want to see people getting all worried and upset about things that are going to come and go. You deal with them and you move on. Because you know who you are. In fact, we're even past the point of asking the question, do you know who you are? Of course you know who you are. But now to experience who you are, that's a different story. That's a different story. And if you think this is real, then what is it when you're dreaming? If you think the dream is real, it seems so real that it seems more than this, then what is this? And if you're sleeping like a log, where did everything go? Gone. Gone. Your attention is totally somewhere else. Only what you put your attention to. Now, are there any questions about any of this? Yes?
Can one be in a dream and know that one is in a dream and then and change it?
You can be consciously dreaming. You can be conscious in the waking state. You can be consciously aware in the dream state. That only shows that when you're dreaming how real it is, that you have a little bit of control over it. You're watching it, you're observing it. Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's still going to leave, because when you either wake up or go into the deep sleep, it's gone. It's only real when you're experiencing it. And if you're experiencing the experience, that just shows you how real it is when you're experiencing it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. Anything else? Because this is something that needs to be addressed. So many teachers address it, and that's not always understood, and we're right back to the world is an illusion, and nobody knows what that means. So unless we get it straight what it means. Now, some people call the four states of consciousness, but the fourth state is really not a state. It is the self or the consciousness that projects the other three. There's a name for it, and I'll give you the name. I like to give just enough names from the literature so if you weren't across it, you know it. It's called Turiya, T-U-R-I-Y-A, Turiya. So if you weren't across Turiya, this is the Supreme Self. That's the consciousness that you are. Now, I love to play tricks on some people I know. You know, I say, so how many consciousnesses in the world? Oh, I don't know. 7 billion. So no, it's one. One. There can only be one consciousness, and what happens is, from that consciousness, it projects or emanates individual aspects of itself. And those individual aspects, if they lose track of that one, then they think they're individual, but they can have this experience, that experience, that experience, and they think they're the doer. Oh my. Oh my. Now, if you think you're the doer, if you believe the stuff a lot of us grew up with, what you got to take the bull by the horns, you got to be the master of your destiny, you got to be the captain of your ship. How often does that work? I mean, it might happen for a little while until the illusion of that wears off, and you've signed what Deepak Chopra says, you signed an agreement to be miserable for the rest of your life. Because you can never meet or match consciousness in the lower levels of the three states. Can't be done. And what's frustrating is the more you try to do it, and the more that it's very unsatisfying, then somebody's going to come along and say, well, you just didn't try hard enough. You were just too lax. You always seem to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, the stars are against you. No, you are looking in all the wrong places. Know the self as the self, and all these things projected, and you watch them. Just like that movie in the movie theater. You're seeing there, you think it's real. And for those few moments, those few hours, it is. But that's being played out. The real movie is in the projector. It comes as a whole thing right there. So you've seen the tins with the movies in there. And so they play it out, and you don't know what's happening next, just like in life. But when you realize that you are that full thing, it's like, who cares? And this is an important teaching. I've seen people, turn their lives around when they fully understand that you are the self. See, and there's many different names for the self. When you have knowledge of it, what difference you put a label on it. But when you read the literature, you're going to run across it. So Moses is up on the mount, and he's downloading the law, okay? And he goes, this is cool, but what's happening to me? Who is this? What's happening? I don't know. I'm going to go down there, they're going to ask me what's going on. What do I say? I say, it's the I am talking. You know that I am everybody talks about? That's the I am that I am. Not separate, that was his consciousness talking to him. He downloaded from a very high level of consciousness what was needed in the world at the time. Now I said, well, that was Esau, burning bush. Well, I don't think Moses wrote that, because there ain't no such thing as a burning bush that doesn't burn. He was seeing his pineal gland. He was experiencing his pineal gland. Now how do I know? I'm not a Bible thumper, but I have a very, very interesting one for you to go to. Go to Genesis 32:30. This will contradict the other Bible thing that says, no man can see the face of God. No man can see the face. In Genesis 32:30, it says, and Jacob said, I have seen the face of God, and I call that place Peniel. You know what that is? You know what that did to me when I saw that? It's like, I know what that means. I will give you the understanding to understand the scriptures. I know what that means. I can relate to Jacob. And some of you here can too. And some of you, hopefully in the near future, will know exactly what we're talking about. But if you get hung up on this world, you're going to have a problem. Because this world is just part of that samsara, that whirlpool of illusion, That brings you down and down and down that rabbit hole so far, it's going to be harder to get out. This is your time to do it. This is our time to do it. We have the ashram. We have Gargi Maji. We can visit. Babuji comes and visit us. Babuji comes and stays for a long period of time. She's here, dude. See? And then some of us were absolutely privileged when Maraji came here. I mean, what a surprise, what a beautiful thing that was. Okay, he happened at his wedding in New York to save the world, but he stopped by to see you and me. You see? This is the time in history, world history, your personal history. If you're within the sound of our voice, if you're here, this is your time. If you have it, you practice it. If you don't have it, you grab on to Babaji's ankles and you don't let go. Until she goes, okay, I give you knowledge.